Hello, friends. Welcome to this newspaper editorial analysis brought to you by Ecovation. This is the analysis for the Hindu newspaper of 27th April. If you are looking for the analysis of Indian Express, you can find the link in the description below. I am Apurv Mishra and these are my credentials. You can connect with me over Ecovation by joining my UPSC study group. The link to the group, you can find that link in the description below. You can connect to me by querying me, mailing me your queries as well, and you can also connect to me over Facebook. So the first article here, this is about the IMF's outlook for world economic growth. This is not directly important for you, so you can just give it a quick read, but don't spend too much time on it. The first editorial, this is important for you. This is in context of the Supreme Court verdict recently, where the court reinstated the DGP of Kerala. The DGP was transferred by the new government of Kerala, but the court has reinstated it. So it is in context of the police reforms, which the Supreme Court had brought out in 2006 judgment in the Prakash Singh case. So this is connected to your GS paper 2, role of civil services in a democracy. So this is about police service, and it is also connected to your GS paper 3, internal security. You have the syllabus point, various security forces and agencies and their mandate. So this is about police force. So, to understand the background about this whole judgment, you should be knowing the key points of the landmark Supreme Court judgment in Prakash Singh case in 2006. The couple of major points were, first was that the court said that there should be a fixed tenure of 2 years for DGP, and the court also said that there should be a state security commission in each state, which should be the chief authority overseeing transfers and postings in the state. But these points are not have not been actually implemented by any of the state governments, and the judgment has been patently ignored till now. You should also read the second ARC report. There is a whole report on police reforms, so you should read the key suggestions which have been made by the second ARC in this context. Given this judgment of Supreme Court, all this becomes important for your exam. So as I said, the Supreme Court reinstated the transferred DGP, and in the Prakash Singh case, the fixed tenure of 2 years was being said. Uh, the Supreme Court in this particular judgment has delineated the limits of subjective satisfaction of state governments in transferring the DGP. So till now, very flimsy grounds, transfers are being done. Like the public has lost trust in the efficacy of the police, and they come and transfer the DGP. So Supreme Court has put a foot down, and it has said that such transfers could be done only on the basis of cogent and rational material. So what questions you could get in mains with this topic? Some sample questions. One of them could be the discuss major points of recommendations. Another question could be discuss the importance or the necessity or the pros and cons of a fixed tenure of DGPs of state police forces. Also, one question could be to discuss the importance of state security commissions in light of frequent transfers. So, the pros would obviously be that the police force would get some sort of autonomy from political interference, and the con would be that the police could become way too independent, and the political leadership would not be able to control the police. So coming to the next editorial article, this is not useful to you. It is about share markets, so you can just move ahead. Now coming to this article is very important for you. It is in the context of Iran policy of US. So after coming of Donald Trump as president, it has been shifting as well. It is important for your GS paper to international relations. The point of your syllabus is effect of policies and politics of developed nations on India's interests. So, what are the policies and politics of US with respect to Iran which could affect India's interests? So the administration has been very critical of Iran recently, which has created an environment of uncertainty. It There has been a sharp increase in the defense budget of US, and what could be the effects of such policies on India? So Indian access to Iranian oil can be affected. So Iran right now, is in October 2016, was the largest supplier of crude oil to India, and India is also building strategic petroleum reserves. You also please go back and Google what strategic petroleum reserve is if you don't know it. So it is basically sort of a, a large scale storage, like you have a reserve tanker in your motorcycle. Similarly, there is a strategic reserve which India is building, that in case there are some uncertainties in global market, India has its own reserve of oil. So you should know what is the importance of of such reserves, and what is the cost involved in it, and why India is planning it. So coming back to this article, the effects of this policy: the strategic petroleum reserves which are being built, Iranian oil is sourced in these petroleum reserves. So this will also get affected, and India is also getting oil from Iran on very favorable terms. The trade actually happens in rupees, unlike in other countries where the trade is happening in US dollars. And in general, trade with Iran, which is very diverse, there are a number of commodities in which India trade with Iran imports commodities from India and petrochemical products from India, which is very diverse, and which is also growing very fast. So this trade will also get impacted because of this political uncertainty. Also, India has signed some recent agreements with Iran. One of very important agreement is the Chabahar Agreement, where India has got the rights to develop industrial facilities in the Chabahar port, through which India will also get access to Afghanistan and Central Asia. So right now, India do not does not have a direct link to Afghanistan and Central Asia, but it can get one by developing this Chabahar port in Iran. So if you are not aware of this Chabahar and its strategic importance, again it is in itself a mains question. So please, if you do not know about it, then go back and read about it. And then there is this Farzad B gas field. So India has got operating rights. So this gas field is in Iranian waters, in the seas, and India has got the rights to operate it, which is very important for the energy security of India. So this was the first page. Now coming to the second page, this article is about the National Commission for Backward Classes. Recently, government passed a constitutional amendment to give constitutional status to this body. This was already a legal body. So this is connected to your GS paper 2. Polity section, you have the syllabus points, functions and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies. So this article critiques this recent 123rd constitutional amendment. It brings to light the Constituent Assembly debates and the provisions of Article 340 of the Constitution. Article 340 deals with backward classes, and this article highlights that in the Constituent Assembly and in the Constitution itself, backward classes were considered different from the scheduled castes and tribes, because the issues which backward classes are facing are less of discrimination. So discrimination is the major issue with scheduled castes and tribes, but with other backward classes the major issue is more of development rather than discrimination. So this article is critiquing this recent move of the government by saying that it will bring backward classes also on a platform of discrimination, which is illogical according to the columnist here. So as I was saying, this constitutional amendment will make NCBC, which is National Commission on Backward Classes, more discrimination protection oriented, rather than being more development oriented. So now coming to the next article, this is by Kailash Satyarthi. This, you can just give a quick read to it. This is not very directly useful to you, with reference to your GS syllabus. It can be important to you. You can get an essay, especially regarding the wars and conflicts which are happening in the Middle East. You can get some essay about it. This is mostly about children who are caught in such international conflicts, especially in Syria. As I said, it can be important for your essay, but it is actually very important if you are a geography optional student. So if you are a geography optional student, read this article carefully, because you have a syllabus point about migration and refugees and IDPs, which is internally displaced persons in wars. So please, if you are a geography optional student, read it carefully. Now coming to this section, this article about Messi is not important. This article not very technical, not important. Now, this conceptual article about double jeopardy, it is used. If you do not know about double jeopardy concept, then please read this article. It is about a person, and the principle of natural justice says that a person cannot be tried more than once for the same offense. Article 20 clause 2 of India's constitution actually uh, gives life to this legal principle. So just read this conceptual article once. And this data point here, it is about the software boom and the rise in software exports of India as compared to hardware exports. This can be relevant or slightly useful from paper 3 perspective in the economy, the external sector, which is about trade and investment from external sector. You can use this data, if you could remember this, that how software exports have grown exponentially while hardware exports have remained more or less stagnant over the last 15 years. You can use such data in one of your essays writing about, let us say, exports or trade for India. So this was the newspaper, The Hindu of the day. If you like this video, please like it. If you feel this video can be beneficial for your friends, share it over Facebook and WhatsApp. And if you want such videos every day, subscribe to this channel. And if you want more discussions and free mock tests and analysis of those by me, then you can join the Ecovation study group. The link to the group, you can find that in the description below. Thank you very much.